So the temple does not belong to anybody, it belongs to the deity. It is the house of the deity, the rules, the traditions that particular deity. So a particular, now there's a lot of debate on social media of Bali Vidhan, should it be changed, and all of that in Kamakhya in Assam, while the government is going on another mindless corridor being created at a very, very important Shakti Peeth. And someone being a Devi Upasak, I find it revolting that many of those structures might be destroyed in the process, or interference in the Bali Vidhan there. That is the rules and regulations of that deity. We have it has been laid down in the tantric traditions, in the Agama Shastras or the tantric Shastras of that particular deity, of which we have no right to interfere. We are just partaking, and that is why all of it is called a darshan. You're going and meeting the lord of that house. So you don't have a right to make alterations to the house of the person you are going and visiting. So I think that fundamental difference itself of an Abrahamic view of a place of worship as opposed to a Sanatanic view of what a place of worship is, that it is the residing area of a deity whom you worship, and therefore you need to subscribe to the rules, to the traditions that have been laid down over centuries by the deity itself through his or her practitioners. That is very important. And I think what is so one is the spiritual aspect itself, and right from Adi Shankaracharya to everyone consecrated that deity or did that prana pratishtha through the establishment of the Sri Chakra at the root of the the idol itself. Now those of us who are again practitioners of the Devi Upasana know that this is like the entire cosmos being represented in a three-dimensional form, the Sri Chakra, which has elements of all the 5 elements being represented, a microcosm of the universe, all the chakras of the body. So the temple structures itself, the way they were designed, be it the Nagara style of the north or the Dravida style of the south, or the mixed, what is called as the mixed style, which brings both the elements, which is more in the Deccan, Karnataka, and other places, thanks to the Chalukyan rulers who started it. All of these have some of these, agamas which mention how the structure needs to be made in accordance with these spiritual, geometries and the way it brings your energy into that consecrated space. The Vastu Purusha of the temple itself is somebody who directly correlates to the 5 elements and also the different chakras of the body. So the esoteric part, the spiritual dimension, is one element of a temple and its importance. The other thing which Anand also referred to is the temple economy itself. How in the past kings gave lands, gave grants to temples, and how that sustained an entire economy in villages, where they were made. All it was a place of congregation for the entire community, and it gave employment and jobs to millions who depended on the temple economy for their own livelihood as well. And the center also for cultural activities, music, dance, painting, architecture, all of that flourishing in the precincts of this temple. Right? And so you have the Brihadishwara temple, the big temple of Tanjavur, which is 1,000 years old, built by Rajaraja Chola, where on the walls of the temple you have the names of about 400 Devdasi singers and dancers who performed in the temple, their names, their emoluments, their mothers' names, their addresses, all of that actually inscribed on the walls of the temple to show how even something like a music and dance performance in the evening was such an important element of the temple environment. So there was in our religion, everything is multidimensional. So there's dharma, artha, kama, all of that leading eventually to moksha. So all these elements of enjoyment of life, of the senses, that was equally important. And it was not a renunciation of those to get to moksha, but the senses need to enjoy a lovely musical or dance performance, which is a tribute to the deity in whose house you're performing. And that is also well documented on the walls of the temple. And as you go, I mean, even if you see the structure of the old temples, particularly what have retained in the south of India, why is it called the Garbhagriha? It's almost like the womb of the mother. And through that, there are so many, and that's how the Sri Chakra is also constructed. If you see the multiple avaranas that it has 9 avaranas or enclosures. And as you go from the grosser elements to the subtlest point, there is just a bindu, which is a point at the 9th avarana, which is where Shiva and Shakti are supposed to come in union. So from the grossest element to the subtlest element, if you see the temple architecture too, there's a big prakara outside where you take a pradakshina. Then the mandapa, the Ranga mandapa, where all this dance and all of this happens. Then a smaller enclosure. Then a smaller, everything then becomes subtle. And then you have the final, the subtlest part, which is the Garbhagriha, where you have the deity residing. So just imagine the multiple dimensions which have been preserved as in the way the temple is constructed, the way it operates on a day-to-day level. As I said, a place for community get-together, a place of education, also a place of lot of social and charitable work.